Welcome back to Mzansi Unicorns. My name is Teddy Kuzwaya, and we are filming live from the B20 Summit 2025. Joining us today as our guest is Saurabh Shah, who is the CEO of UBCSC, Universal Business and Corporate Services Center. I hope I'm saying it correctly.
Perfectly right.
All right, Saurabh. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you. Pleasure is mine.
All right, excellent. So tell us more about your organization.
So, UBCSC is a consulting firm which is operating out of India, and we advise and assist foreign companies in setting up business in India. So we help them with market research report, finding partners, setting up company, and then taking care of all compliances. We also help Indian companies to expand in the overseas market. And the third vertical that we have in our firm is in education. So we help universities on industry academia partnerships and institutional collaboration. So that's a brief about UBCSC.
Oh, excellent. So what's your passion in education? Is there some sort of history? Where did your passion start to where you are today?
Wonderful question, and this is something so dear to my heart. So when I used to advise corporates and industry in India on compliances and corporate actions, in many of my interactions I observed that industry requires talent which is industry ready. And when I studied this a little more in depth, I came across a lot of understanding of the gap between what the universities and academia are delivering and what the corporate sector in India is expecting. And hence I decided that since there is a gap, there is a challenge, it would be good to provide solution in terms of providing support on industry academia partnership. So we started a vertical which advises and assists universities in tying up with the industry across sectors based on their programs on various components of industry academia partnerships such as internship, placement, curriculum design, faculty internship. Now this is a very new concept which is evolving. The professor who's teaching in the classroom must have completed his or her graduation, post-graduation years ago. It's important that the professor goes to the industry in the recent times and acts as a part of their team for maybe 6 months or a year and brings that knowledge back to the classroom from industry. That's going to be so relevant for the students to know. So that's another area and a component of industry academia partnership, which is faculty internship. The next is professor of practice. When you have professors who are industry experts, they come and talk to the students. They get, the students get very immensely ready for what the industry is going to be looking like and what is that they need to build. There are skills which are certainly tangible, but at the same time there are intangible skills also which are required.
So as a comparison, can you share a bit about the status of education in India versus the status of our own education systems in South Africa? Are there similarities? Can you compare the two, the different levels of maturity? What would be your view on that?
Teddy, in my opinion, education sector in both these continents, both countries is evolving and there is a huge potential. Lot has been done, but there is still a long roadmap and agenda. If I can share with you something with reference to specifically with reference to India, the government of India came up with new education policy in the year 2020, which has laid down the framework and a very conducive ecosystem for universities to internationalize, to look at collaboration. They have picked up a lot of pain points which used to exist in the system, and they have tried to create a policy framework which will facilitate solutions and will encourage universities to work towards that. I'm studying what kind of policy reforms we have in South Africa, and if there is something that can be, aligned and connected. My one objective of coming here to the B20 Summit is to meet academicians and universities in South Africa and try and see if there are opportunities to collaborate with the Indian universities in terms of dual degree program, students exchange, joint research projects.
And how's that going? How's been your progress in the engagements with some of your South African stakeholders?
very interesting. I met a lot of people here, had a very good understanding of what they are looking at in terms of opportunities in India, and I'm already carrying a mandate from some of my known universities, clients, as well as the corporate sector. So just trying to align and see where there is an opportunity. But I'm very clear that I want to identify some low-hanging fruits as the points of collaboration, because when you talk with a long and a very wide agenda, sometimes it just fizzles off. So I'm going to be very specific and focused on something which is low-hanging and try and build cooperation and collaboration on those points to win the confidence on both the sides for a more insightful and a deeper partnership.
And traditionally, education, theoretically speaking, should lead to employment. But as the world is evolving and more businesses in the form of startups are being established, do you see a trend that is taking place in the likes of India where that is becoming a reality? Like, is education leading to employment, or are you seeing a lot of new businesses emerge?
I personally feel that it is now leading to employment, especially with reference to what I have seen in various sectors of Indian industries, and the universities offering the programs which are relevant to the sectors. Because now the universities, after the NEP, and of course with their own vision and their mission in making education more pragmatic, they are working on these components very closely.
Okay.
And I also see the corridor opening up from the industry side also, that they also need to extend their cooperation to the universities in terms of providing them opportunities for internship, being there, going there and attending to the classrooms and giving lectures as professor of practice or guest lectures. So the onus and the obligation is now being recognized on both the sides. And I think we are seeing a moment which is nurturing a very beautiful symbiotic relationship. And it is evolving. But I'm sure 5 years down the line, we will see a very positive result-oriented impact of this.
I saw unemployment stats. Someone sent me the latest stats as at end of Q2 or Q3 this year. And it showed, say, your top 10, top 20 countries' unemployment rates.
Right.
And I see India, I stand to be corrected, but it's somewhere between 5 and 7% unemployment compared to South Africa at 31, 32%. How is India managing to keep unemployment at such a low rate relative to the size of the population, which is nearing 1.4, 1.5 billion? Is education a big factor, or what is it that we can learn from India?
Right. So education is really creating manpower and talent which is industry ready. Second, I would also give appreciation to the government, both at the federal and state level, because they are also creating policies and frameworks which are conducive to employment. And industry is also recognizing its responsibility and the role of creating opportunities. In the last 10 years, we have seen a lot of foreign direct investment coming into India, because India provides a huge domestic market of 1.4 billion people. So more the FDI, more the setting up of companies, manufacturing facilities, service companies, giving more employment opportunities. So it is a collaborative effect of the policy, what the education and the universities are doing, and also the industry.
No, that's amazing. And I mean, it's really incredible to learn from. And with this opportunity that we have in hosting an event like the B20, where we not only have the likes of India being present, but we have the top 20 economies of the world. What is it that we can do to not miss an opportunity like this, but to take full advantage as the very first hosts of a B20, G20 summit being in Africa, what can we do to take advantage going forward after these next 2 days?
So I'm so delighted and happy that I'm here when South Africa is hosting the first ever G20 B20 summit on the African soil.
Yeah.
And this amplifies the role of emerging economies in trade expansion and also policy discourse. And South Africa, of course, is considered to be the voice of Africa.
Yes, yeah.
Right? Now we are also talking about the new global South, where South Africa and India has a very significant role to play. In my opinion, South Africa should focus on opening up corridors for partnerships and collaborations in sectors where they have their strength. You have the data of people who have come here as delegates, the B20 summit. This data should be very scientifically analyzed. And if I may say so, a task force should be set up at the B20 Secretariat to see how we are able to convert this potential leads into a productive and a fruitful engagement.
Post the summit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it should be tracked from time to time, month to month, and help them to connect with the industry in South Africa. But the task force should act as a facilitator, as a catalyst to make sure that this connection is not getting lost, and wherever the government needs to come in, the government support is there. If this is taken care of, in my opinion, in the next 6 months to 1 year, you will see the true impact, a positive impact, a result-oriented impact of hosting the B20 summit here in South Africa.
Yeah, because I mean, it's great to have the task force and the work streams, and quite often they'll be event specific.
Right.
But what does that look like going forward?
Absolutely.
On a continuous basis.
Correct. Yeah. So, on a continuous basis, I would put the second part of it is to have more interactions with countries who have come here, have shown interest in making investments in South Africa. We're really fortunate to have delegates from across the globe. Yesterday I was at a reception and I met almost people, met people from almost all the countries who are here and present, taking delegations from the industry bodies and chambers to these countries, hosting delegations. Because one is, making people familiar about the opportunities.
Yeah.
But in order to get the feel at the ground level, it's important that the business delegations, inbound and outbound, they take place as one of the outcomes of this B20 summit, which is being hosted. And task force can play its role as a facilitator.
Sure.
But the industry bodies and the chambers of commerce in South Africa will have to come together. When I say industry bodies focus on specific sectors, and the bilateral chambers of commerce that are operating in South Africa. They will have to be very active and collaborate with the embassies and the consulates of foreign countries which are here in South Africa.
So speaking about low-hanging fruit and actually some of the sectors that are of interest, which ones stand out specifically relating to the collaboration and the relationship between India and South Africa? Which are the sectors that are of most interest with the most growth potential?
In my opinion, one is the precious stones and the metals. Then also is the education, technology. Right? I see a good, cooperation in the area of aerospace and defense sector also.
Interesting.
Right? So these are sectors, and also pharma. Pharma and healthcare is going to be a very, very potential dynamic corridor to look at partnerships and collaboration. I know for sure there are already, some collaborations between India and South Africa in healthcare and pharma, but there is a huge potential which is untapped. And summit like this will help us to make conversions.
I know India's made huge strides with regards to some of our healthcare programs, HIV and AIDS and the likes, and they're deeply vested in countries like South Africa. And equally so, I'm sure, on our side, the likes of an Aspen and all of our other pharma companies having significant relationships with India, I think is very, very interesting.
Absolutely, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot can be done. And at a micro level, the businesses will have to connect. Because at the macro level, the governments will do their jobs in terms of creating the framework.
Yes.
But the industry bodies, the chambers of commerce, the entrepreneurs will have to take a step forward.
Yeah. Are you involved with entrepreneurs in your role as a consultant, for instance?
Yes, I am involved. I help startups in helping them to evaluate the business plan. I help them to decide which is the right type of entity structure to operate, how to raise funds, help them with compliances. So very much involved.
Are you involved on the South African side as well, working with?
Not so far, but I'm really excited to see what opportunities are there here, and now taking the message back to my clients in India, sector specific, to see how they would like to take this forward under my guidance in terms of collaboration and partnerships. So this being my first trip to South Africa, I'm certainly looking forward to build some good partnerships in times to come.
Oh, you should have brought your clients here. Are they here?
Yeah, I will like to. Next trip, definitely.
Yeah. Are there? So you don't have any clients with you? At the moment,
at the moment,
no.
At the moment, I don't have my clients coming here. I'm here as a part of the B20 summit as a delegate. But next time, I would definitely like to.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I think there's nothing better than experiencing a country in person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And an event like this, I mean, this is a once-off. I was telling someone earlier that the next time we'll have a B20 in South Africa is probably in 20 years.
But we have I think the South Africa has made a very good beginning. And the kind of efforts and the hard work that has been put into, I think it's outstanding.
Yeah. And I mean, lastly, what do you hope to get out of the next 2 days with regards to the B20?
One is a lot of learning in the various technical sessions that we have, the breakaway sessions, building new connects, not only South Africa, but globally, and try and evaluate how together we can create a good, robust ecosystem where we can do multilateral businesses.
Great, Saurabh. It's been a great pleasure to have you on the show and really enjoyed our conversation. And I wish you the very best over the next 2 days and beyond. And I really think that our countries can do even greater things together. We have a long history.
Absolutely.
South Africa and India.
We have a great relationship based on the history, the shared values, and the strong fundamental economic factors. So I'm sure we have a lot in common and a lot to do together. Right. Thank you very much, Sharif.
All right. Take care. Hey?
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you soon. Chap chap.